Hey team, welcome to Inside the Movie Photographer with Jasin Boland. Today, I have a super special guest, a very, very dear old buddy of mine. We worked together first in 1986, which was the very first film that I worked on, Light Horseman. And we've shared some pretty amazing times on film sets in some pretty incredible countries. So today, I'm going to introduce my buddy, John Platt, and we're going to talk about his new book, Observations on Set, which is a love letter to above and below the line film crew. And it's really good. And at the end of it, I promise you, you're going to go and want to get a copy of it. So I'm going to bring Platty in now. I'm going to put my glasses on. Go. Hey, John, how are you, buddy?
Jason, thanks for having me. I'm really well, thanks.
That's good.
To be here.
I'm really excited to have a chat about your book because I don't know how many films we've worked on together, but it's got to be a dozen or more, right?
A dozen? I wish it was. No, it was Light Horseman, where we were both very, very young. That was my second film in those days. I was a focus puller. Then we didn't work together until Red Planet in '99.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then Stealth?
Yeah.
And The Mummy 3.
So it's only four films.
Only
four.
Oh my gosh. I know.
I feel like I've been on every film set with you.
We've been keeping track of each other, sure.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's really cool. And now for those out there, now John didn't start as a photographer, as an on-set photographer. He started actually, went through the whole ranks of the camera department. And I remember from those four that you'd always be with your wide larks, and you'd have a camera with you and shooting crew. And I really, really love this book. Not too many people can do it, and I have to say it's the definitive book on capturing film crew. And I think it's really, really cool that you've done this for everyone. And I just love the photos. I can't wait to have a quick chat about them, mate.
Thanks, Jace. Yes, it's a labour of love. I did start in stills, not on set. I started out of high school as a stills assistant in commercial photography studios in North Sydney. And I walked into the second photographer who I was trying to get a job with. He was quite well known in Sydney at the time. He was just finishing up his stills career and getting into commercials. I got the job to look after the freelance photographers who walked into the studio to use his space now that he was no longer using it. At the same time, I did a number of jobs as their PA, production assistant, on the commercials they were doing. And that was my introduction to the film industry. At that stage, I'd been in stills for about 4 years. At that stage, I kind of felt burnt out. And I was introduced to these characters in the film industry. I saw the amount of travel they were doing, the money they were earning. They had no overheads. And I thought, what am I doing? It's time to make a move. And that was my introduction to the film industry. Ian McDonald was the name of the photographer. Paul Murphy was his in-house cinematographer. And Paul and I had a bit of a chat one day. I said, what do you think? Could I get into the film industry? He said, yeah, absolutely, go for it. And that's when I put myself out there as a freelance clapper loader, second AC. And then in time, I kind of picked up the camera again and started photographing. And that's where the behind the scenes stuff comes from. My love of photography returned, and I started taking photographs of crew, and that goes back to 83, where the book starts.
No way. That's insane. And actually, another thing worth pointing out too is I was the camera loader on Light Horseman. So my first foray into film industry was the same sort of path. And we're going to talk about this man, but Jim Sheldon was my inspiration. Like, he was the photographer on the set there, and I just spend every living moment with him away from set. And that was why I wanted to get into being the unit still photographer.
That's interesting, dear Jim. He's unfortunately no longer with us. I worked with Jim as a freelance stills assistant. Between the time I left Ian McDonald's studio and had enough work as a second AC, I was also working as a freelance stills assistant. And Jim was one of the photographers in Sydney who I worked with. And then we reconnected on the Light Horseman.
No way. Well, there you go. Wow. So, that's interesting that that our paths have kind of gone that direction the whole way. That's very cool. Hey, now I'm going to slip into some photos straight away. Oh, I love these shots. This is a shot from The Mummy, right?
It is. Producer Chris.
There you go.
He's not looking very happy because there's just been a meeting, and Rob Cohen, director, has asked, you can see the gap behind him there. It looks like he's standing on a cliff, the area of dirt below him. And the decision has been made to dig a huge amount of dirt out of that area. I can't remember why, but that's what the decision was made. And I think probably he's thinking more than anything else, this is going to cost me some money. So that's why he's looking a little serious. But he was a lovely guy. I didn't do the whole of The Mummy. You guys started in Quebec, didn't you?
Montreal.
Yeah. I wasn't involved in that part of the shoot. I got a call from Chris to join the shoot when it went to China, as did First AC Dave Elms. So we only did the China section, but it was quite the experience.
Yeah, I remember that was so dusty, and I think it was they had to dig it out because the guys were down there excavating, the actors, and then they had to walk out up this tunnel path kind of thing. I think that was up the ramp.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. And it was very, very dusty. So, Platty, one of the things we spoke about was that apart from just looking at these amazing photographs, we were going to tell people about what crew members do from the photographs. So here's Chris, a producer. Just briefly, tell me what a producer on a film set does.
Well, producer basically runs the whole thing. They also raise the money for the production, but they are ultimately in charge.
Yeah, they're the head honcho, right?
They are the boss. Yes.
Yeah.
Buck stops here.
Always good to have a good relationship with the producer. Right. So I just absolutely adore this photograph. And take it away, bud.
Yeah, thank you. This is the cover to the book. This photo was always going to be the cover photo. I never had anything else in mind. I think it fits the title, Observations on Set, perfectly. And It's director Jeff Darling with the viewfinder. We're shooting a Toyota commercial up on a glacier in New Zealand. I think it was in the year 2000. And he's with him there are on the left, you've got First AD Murray Robinson, and in the centre, key grip Brendan Shanley. Jeff liked to stick with the same crew, and the three of them were a real team, and they did every job together, and a great team to work with as well. Yeah,
it's very common in the film industry to have teams that stick together, and which always amazes me a lot when people are like, you read, especially with like this Nepo baby thing, and oh yeah, but they're in with him and that. It's like, well, you're away from your family so long. You want to have people around you that you love being with. So I actually don't have any issue with that at all. I think it's really smart to travel with people that you like being with. So fill me in a little bit quickly on the role of the key grip, and obviously the director. I mean, a lot of people know, but let's just keep on with the theme here.
Okay, so director obviously is the director. They, when there's cast involved, they work very, very closely with the cast. Jeff also was the cinematographer. So he was director, cinematographer on all his commercials. So he was multi-talented. I say was because unfortunately Jeff also is no longer with us, which is a great shame. He was very well loved by everybody who worked with him. The first AD, Murray, there on the left. The first AD is effectively the producer's representative on set. It's their job to get the call sheet shot every day. And they, along with the cinematographer, are really the two roles that run the day's work. And yeah, then we've got Brendan down there behind them in the center. Key grip. The grips are responsible for the safety of the camera, for arranging the camera, be it on a tracking shot. They set up all the tracks. They push the dolly. They create all the rigs, and you'd know a lot about rigs with all your work on the Fury Road and Mad Max films and all the action stuff that you shoot. But it's the grips who position those cameras, make sure they're safe, and get them ready to shoot any of the scenes we work on each day.
Perfect description. Yeah, a lot of directors use the same first for the lifetime of their careers. It's like the first is the one that's making up the schedule, so that, as you said, so we complete our days, and you can only do that by knowing how a director shoots. It's really hard for people to come in cold and figure out how you're going to make your day. So, yeah, I love a good first.
It's all about relationships, isn't it?
It really is all about relationships. Oh, is this your wide lux?
This is the wide lux. Yes. Owen Patterson, production designer. So now we're into art department. This was Welcome to Whoop Whoop. Where were we? About this location was about 50k outside of Alice Springs in the centre of Australia, and God knows why we're up there. Probably looking at a camera position, but I just felt that as we had Owen there, being the production designer and whose genius it was to create the whole of Whoop Whoop, the village of Whoop Whoop, I needed to get a photograph of him. So there he is, bless him.
Directed by my dear friend Stephen Elliott, and I just finished working with a film with Owen, I think last year. Owen is one of the great production designers that ever walked the planet, regardless of being Australian or not. And he did The Matrix, of course, and so many incredible films. And I just want to point out too that although it's quite Aussie-centric, your book, it's not all just Australian crew. It's completely international, and obviously many international locations as well, slathered throughout it. So it's truly an international book.
Yeah, look, I also spent 3 years in Toronto, Canada, in the mid '90s, from '93 to '96, working out of Toronto. So there's a whole section there of films from Canada. But yes, look, there's a lot of shows where we were lucky enough to travel overseas to shoot.
Yeah, it's one of the best parts of the industry, I think. It's going global, and we've had this conversation before. You can be the best technician in the whole wide world, but unless you're user friendly, you don't leave your postcode. So those that go global usually have a little bit of added extra thing to them, and like I said, it's usually being user friendly. God, that's got to be like when was this?
That's art director Michael Rumpf.
Rumphy. It is
Rumphy. 2002, The Great Raid.
Oh, up North Queensland as well. Hence the cane fields.
It was, where were we? We were primarily, it was near the studios.
Was it? Oh, so it must have been Jacob's Well then. Oh,
I don't know. That was a
Jacob's.
That was a tough shoot, that one. for a lot of reasons. But yeah, this was one day in the cane fields, and I hadn't worked. That was 2002, and I worked with Michael for the first time since then last year on a show up in Darwin. So it was
No
lovely to
way.
see him again. Yeah, lovely to see him again. But that's it. You know, it's the great thing, as you know, about this industry is I can't, you know, we don't see people, and what was that? 20 something years since I'd seen him. Yet the moment we saw each other, it was like we'd seen each other yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, it's those shared experiences, and that's the, you know, the thing that I love about this industry. It's the shared experiences that bring people together and form, as you mentioned earlier, it's like a family, and that's why again you love to work with the same people, and a lot
Yeah.
of directors who can make those decisions on who they want to work with bring in the same people, because it's a relationship, and you're away from your family, so it's not easy. But to have people who you know and love working with is priceless.
Yeah, you really need to hit the ground running from day one. And, you know, exactly what you just said then, having familiar faces and people that you worked with before, it's an essential part of, you know, of filmmaking. Pierre was a photographer on that one, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Pierre.
Yeah.
He was a New Zealand photographer, a French, right? And sadly, he's no
Yes,
longer
a
with us.
French photographer who, lived in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about production designer, art director?
100%, JP. Let's let everyone know what Rumphy does.
So Rumphy, he is an art director, or was an art director on that show and many others. And effectively, they are the right-hand person to the production designer. You can liken it to an architect and an engineer, or an architect and a builder. The production designer, it's their vision, as it is an architect's, of a particular building, or in the case of the film industry, the overall look of a film, in conjunction with the director, of course. But then it's the art director's job to put that vision into practical sets, to have the sets built, to get all the props, to have them the sets all dressed, and it's their job to, as I say, take that vision and make it a reality.
Yeah, it's amazing what goes into it too. You know, I mean, like just little things like, you know, you're building an office, you know, what I'm in, and then you'll have breakaway walls where you can pull them out, and so you can get the camera in there and, you know, tent it all up, and, you know, and to tiny little things like, you know, a palette, like a color of a car matching the palette colors of streets and things like that. It's like, you know, and you know as well as I do, you know, a lot of production designers have colors they don't like, and we'll make sure that there's either no red or no blue or something. You know, it's like it's a really deep dive into what goes into the art department.
Oh, it is, and then the production designer collaborates, of course, with the director, but then the cinematographer as well, costume designers, again with wardrobe and the color palette of the show, as you mentioned, the cinematographer, for instance, and again, let's use your space there as an example. You've got lights in the walls. You've got practical lights, and the cinematographer and the production designer and the art director will all discuss the opportunities to bring in lights which can be used to illuminate not only the set but also actors and practical lights which you know, turn on and off, and just go to make the whole environment workable for everybody.
Yeah, I don't think there's a more collaborative industry than the film industry. I mean, I honestly can't think of one. Anyone else? leave a comment down below if you can. But what goes into it from every single person on a film set, you know, you can basically anyone can speak their mind up, and it's up to, you know, the people above you to take it in or to dismiss it. And I love that part of it.
And that's the beauty, I think, of the really great directors. They have, and also directors, but also head of departments. They have people with them, and the environment which they all work in. If it's a director, we're talking about the whole crew. If it's a department, you're talking about grips, you're talking about camera, you're talking about props, wardrobe, whatever. But if you've got people there who feel that the environment is safe and they can give their opinions, then it makes for a much more enjoyable working environment. And the great directors, great film technicians, they have people with them who they trust and they know will come up with ideas that maybe they hadn't thought of, but they will then use them for the benefit of the production.
I was going to exactly say that, because it is. It's like, all it is making a better movie, and it's up to them to keep it or not. The only thing that annoys me, though, is when I ask the DP for another stop of light, they don't normally give it to me.
Funny that. Yes. and hey, look, I've only been doing this 10 years, the unit stills thing. But it's the bane of our life, isn't it? How these cameras' sensors are becoming more and more sensitive. So there is less light needed, but we still need a decent exposure and to be shooting at a decent shutter speed. Yeah, it's not easy. It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
It sure is a challenge. I worked with John Matheson last year on Jurassic and Dan Mendel, and it was so nice working with the old school DPs, which are just grand masters, really, and how they just layer the light, and they give more light than what we get with a lot of the newer guys, I think, and I'm all for layered light.
There is this tendency to shoot wide open, isn't there, these days?
Oh my gosh!
Which
I know, right?
it's tough, but like I said, it's a challenge.
Is that Harry?
Yes, it is. Harry Zettel, standby props, and this was also on the Great Raid a little while ago. Now you can see he's got a cigarette in his mouth, which we no longer have on set. But he's in front of him. He's got all the watches for the soldiers from the Great Raid, and he would hand each watch out each morning. Yeah.
And something interesting there again is that I don't know whether he's actually doing that, but each one of these watches have to be set to exactly the same time.
Yes, absolutely they do. And you could be right. Maybe that's what he's doing before he hands them out. It probably is what he's doing before he hands them out. He will check that they are all synchronized. Yeah, for sure.
It's amazing. The standby props, which is on set, they do an amazing job. Responsible for every single prop that you see an actor with, and the second that cut is called, they're straight in there, grab it all, and take it off, and then it's like getting ready to set again, and walking in the props and make sure they're in the right place, and as we're just talking about then, making sure in conjunction with the script supervisor that the time is correct on the watches. It's really, this is really, really great fun talking about what everyone does with you, JP, because it's bringing back a flood of just how much goes into the whole filmmaking process, right?
Absolutely. And I must say that when it comes to describing what everybody does, we're not experts in every department.
Yes.
So please, if we miss something, please forgive us. But the props department, they are also essential in what we do. As unit stills photographers, when we take an actor away to do a pull aside portrait, it's always important for that actor to have a prop. If they, for instance, maybe it's a watch, maybe it's a knife, maybe it's a hat, whatever. But if there's a prop that they have with them all the time, then it speaks to their character. And so therefore it's important to have it in the photographs. So again, if there's a shot that I see I can grab on set, then there are a number of people who I word up, and one of them is standby props to grab that prop. And again, relationships, they trust that you will take that prop, but you will then also bring it back and put it back where it was if you don't hand it directly back to them.
Like a boomerang, exactly. And I don't expect people to comprehend 100% what you and I do either, but it's all about respect, and there's a bit of respect going on in this photo here. I love it.
Well, this is part of the standby props as well. They've got to think on their feet. I mean, we all do, but then you've got to think quick. And in this situation, now what was this on? This is Red Planet. We're at a Cooper.
Oh, that's James. Yeah, right.
James, yes. James on the left there.
Is that Shane on the right?
Shane on the right, assistant standby props. So James Cox, standby props on the left, and Shane Bennett, his assistant. Now they're filling in footprints that the actors had made, and this is on the moon plane outside Cooper PD, and they had to fill in these footprints with some dirt, but of course they couldn't reach it any other way. And this is within 2 or 3 minutes of saying we've got to fill those footprints. They've come up with this plan, this cantilevered, and you can actually see this safety. There is a third person behind James there, adding a little bit of muscle to stop Shane from dipping down and falling into the moon plane. So, and as you remember, the moon plane, there's a crust on that plane, and as soon as you disturb the crust, all the very, very fine dirt underneath escapes, and it's inevitably very windy out there as well. So it can be a pretty difficult place to work in, but at the same time, it's a pretty amazing place to work in.
It looks like a grip, and it looks like it's looks like Birdie's legs, if you want my opinion.
It's a safety officer.
It is a safety officer.
Arthur, I can't remember his surname. That's Arthur, safety officer.
That's a classic. Remember that day, and I think it was this location actually, when the lightning storm was chasing us all around, and we all had to evacuate.
Yes, I do. And within the book, there's a couple of stories, and one of them is about that day when someone saw off in the distance these puffs of dust coming up off the ground, and it was actually the lightning hitting the ground, and it started coming towards us, and we were working at the Hab, which was a set, but basically it was the remains of the facility that had been built on Mars. It had been destroyed, but still there was a tower section, which must have been 20 or 30 meters tall. Yeah. So a perfect lightning rod.
And it was.
Yes.
Because it was striking the iron ore ridge in the background, and then it was like, ooh, there's a nice high spot, and it like exactly that. I remember it tracking us through, and it struck. The closest one was, I think, like 100 meters away, and I got a ground strike. I actually had to go to hospital that night because I had there was 2 of us that went to hospital. And I just had like a lack of movement in my right hand. But I remember it's like I had cameras and I had a necklace on, and I was just like, the second that one happened, I just pulled everything off and dropped it on the ground and went to the safety of a car. And this is going back some time when we didn't really have, we had safety obviously, and film sets are always very safe environments. But there was a little bit of confusion about what we should have done, and now we all now we all obviously know that we go straight into a vehicle and sit inside of that.
Yeah, and again, that's part of the story. Little stories within the book talks to exactly that process of where do we go? Everybody into the trucks. 5 minutes in the trucks. Everybody out of the trucks. And I remember Mitch Munson, the a camera operator. He had very, very long blonde hair, and his hair started to rise with the static electricity. Right. It was like it was wild. Anyway, look, we all survived and went on to finish the day.
I know, right? Yeah, I still speak with Mitch.
With a trip to hospital for you, unfortunately. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, so there was someone else too. I can't remember if it was a grip or, but there was two of us that had to go there, and but yeah, I was completely lost, like a lot of movement in my right side for a few days, but but I was fine. Not the worst situation I've been in.
No.
So this is such a beautiful shot.
This is first AD Mark Turnbull. Assistant directors, I think that the first page of the assistant director's manual as a young third AD when you first join the industry is ADs never sit down. And this is the first time I'd ever seen Mark sitting down.
That's incredible.
And he was just there behind this hut, and I just happened to be walking by for whatever reason, and there he was. By this stage, I'd got my real Leica, and this was shot with a Leica M6. But I love this shot. There's just an openness to him, just looking straight into the camera, and that's what I love about the sort of photography that I love to shoot is people in their environments. And of course, the film industry lends itself perfectly to that. Shooting crew in their working environment. And yeah, this is one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites, this one. Yeah.
And it really comes through too, in your book. And we're only showing a small portion of it, I think, 30 photos or something. But how many photographs are in the book?
Close to 400. It's
400. Wow.
230 pages. One of the most difficult things was to decide which images go into the book. It was really tough. Yeah. And there are so many that I would have loved to have put in it, but in the end, couldn't.
I think the first is probably the hardest worker on any film set. And as you can see there, poor Mark looks a little bit flogged.
Yeah. It was a tough shoot. Yeah.
Which film was that?
That's Great Raid again. I seem to be having a lot of photographs of the Great Raid. Yes, second ADs now. Second ADs. This was Necrotronic, which was shot in Sydney a few years back. And Chris Turner is the second AD there. And for whatever reason, he just came on set to talk to the first and was roped in to be a stand-in while there was some lighting going on. So that's why he finds himself in that position. But Chris being Chris, he continues his first job as a second AD and on the phone for whatever reason.
Actually, I have to throw the second AD in there too as being one of the hardest workers. Their life is relentless, and every question from every crew member, because a lot of time, I don't like talking to the first during the day, so I like to leave them alone. So I know there's a lot of other crew members are like that as well. And what do? We go to the second because they're the gatekeepers of all the information.
Yes, they certainly are. They create each day's call sheet. They primarily are located at unit base, where all the actors' caravans are. They liaise with the first AD on set and the actors when it comes to getting the actors back and forth to set. It's the second AD with the help of their assistants, the third AD and the production assistants. But primarily, yeah, their job is to look after the actors and to create the following day's call sheet and dealing with
very cool.
everybody's issues.
Yeah, everybody's a psychiatrist, psychologist.
Yeah.
This is an extraordinary image. This is, I mean, like, you know, you can talk about a couple of things here, obviously, as well as background artists, but take it away, JP.
Third AD now, one of the best, Joe Popplewell. He's now moved on. He's now a second AD, but this was Hacksaw Ridge, and that's just outside Sydney.
Amazing.
I didn't do a lot of work on Hacksaw, but what work I did was at this stage I was still operating. I was operating some days on second unit. And look, just one day there was Joe with all, as you say, the background extras. And I just, you know, grabbed this quickly. But it blew me away. The thing that blew me away about being on set on this show was the realism of these background extras.
What you're saying there, you know, with Joe as third, they have a lot of responsibility as well. And a lot of time it is looking after the background cast. And you know, a film's only as good as the background. And, you know, these guys, I don't think they give themselves enough credit a lot of the time because they literally can make or break a scene.
These guys, this is what blew me away about this this set and these background extras. I've got some other photographs of them just relaxing between takes and, you know, while the cameras are being set up. And I kid you not, they look like the real thing.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, it really is amazing. They did a brilliant job.
yeah.
But anyway, look, yeah, it's a third AD who they look after the background cast, and also they are essential when it comes to helping us out as unit stills photographers, because as you said, you don't go to the first AD. They've got so much on their mind. They're running the set. So your go-to, well, certainly my go-to person is the third AD, and a good third AD is just gold because they understand your requirements. I mean, we're all there doing a job, and if I can see an opportunity where I can get a cast member to do, again, for a pull aside to get a portrait, then first person I ask is the cast member themselves whether they're happy to do it. Then if so, then it's the third AD, it's hair and makeup, it's costume, it's props. You word all these people up, and then of course you talk to the lighting guys if they can help you out with a bit of poly or a light to get a bit of a kicker. You've got to organize all that, and then it comes down to the third AD because you've got you know what it's like. You've got minutes. And you've got to find it, and you've got to find a spot where you're in sight of everybody. They get very, very nervous if the stills photographer takes an actor offset and they can't see where they are. But anyway, it's the third AD who you liaise with, and then through their communications with all the other departments. Get you the shot, get everybody together to then achieve that shot that you're after. And Joe's one of the good ones. He's a cracker.
And the final tick comes from the first AD.
It's true. It's you of course you mention to the first AD that's what you want to do, and you will get a nod, and then that's it. That's all you need to do. Just let them know, and then it's down to you and liaising with everybody else.
Yeah, and you're so lucky having Mr. Duggan there to provide some beautiful light. And that's one thing that people too, it's like they sit there and they will say to us, oh, you're really lucky you don't have to do any lighting and this and that and the other thing. Technically, that's not 100% correct. But we are very, very privileged to have some of the great masters provide light for us. But as you know as well as I do, there's also little pockets which they create which they're not using, which we then go and find that light which is offset, but they've still made this beautiful, for me, they're like, I don't know, the director of photography are you know, God with a budget.
It's all about the light, Jace, as you know. Yep.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
all about the light, and you know, that comes before composition. It's all about the light, and you're absolutely right. Yeah, we've been very, very lucky to work with some brilliant cinematographers. You know, as in the first half of my career, or 2/3 of my career, as part of the camera department, and now as a unit stills photographer. Yeah, very, very privileged to work with some of these guys and girls. Yeah, amazing.
This shot pretty much sums up a day.
Yes, the lot of the production assistant. This is Luke. This is on a show that I shot a couple of years ago in Sydney. Production assistant effectively is the assistant to the third AD, I guess, is probably the best way to put it. They are, you know, a junior third AD, and from production assistant, you then go into third AD. That's the one of the next steps. But this is Luke, and he's just bringing the cast seats from one section of the set to the next while we're setting up for the next shot. But I just love the way that he. Why'd you put it there? I want it over there. Oh, okay. So off we go over there. But yeah, look, you know, how many chairs can you carry at once? Well, I'll show you how many I can carry at once.
And it's like being a barman.
Yeah,
bringing all the glasses over.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh God, Andrew.
Oh, Andrew. Oh, God, what a guy.
Talking about privileged to work with some very special cinematographers.
Yeah.
This guy, Andrew Lesney. Oh, wow.
What a gem, hey? Oh my God.
Yeah. He had a long time first AD, Colin Dean. Colin and Andrew worked on many, many, many shows together, including the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I was lucky enough to work with Andrew on one feature, 2F by C, while I was over in Canada. He was a gem of a human being. This was on Happy Feet, the first of the two Happy Feets, and we were shooting the live action sequence. There's a small section, and I think it's when the penguin is in the zoo. And this was all the live action guys, humans basically, non-animated section of the shoot. And I just thought it was fitting when he was standing there in front of all those cameras.
That's a classic. Yeah. Absolute Harry, love that. Is that on the walls in Harry?
No. This is interesting. This was shot on a digital camera. This is where are we? 2006 or 7, I think it is. And you could probably tell me more than I would have the knowledge, because it was a borrowed digital camera, and I can't remember the resolution, but it's pretty low. So the image itself is only 4,000 or 5,000 pixels in width. So yeah, it's one of the early digital DSLRs. Even if they wanted to put it on the wall, they couldn't put it very big.
Right. Well, you can now because you can fix that.
Yeah, I suppose you can. Yeah.
So maybe it's a D1X, is it? Which is, I think, like 4.5 megapixels.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't even remember the brand of camera at that stage.
Yeah, right. Wide lux again. Love the wide lux.
Wide lux,
I used to have a Cambo wide, but I think the wide lux is a much better camera.
Yeah, look, it's funny. A lot of people would have seen Jeff Bridges' books with his wide lux photography, and I just there's something about. I like the idea that knowing that he was over in North America and whatever location he was in with his wide lux, and he was shooting everybody who appears in front of the camera. and I was
Yeah.
shooting everybody at the same time who appears behind the camera.
I love it.
And the Wide Lux was a great camera. Now, I first found a Wide Lux in Panavision. It was the days where during testing for any production, the camera assistants were allowed to walk into the area where all the lenses and equipment were kept. And I was looking for a box to house a lens, and there was one on one of the shelves. I opened it up to see if it was empty, and inside was a Wide Lux camera.
No way.
And I said to Andrew Collier, who was the rental manager at Panavision at the time, I said, "Does this get used very much?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Why?" And he couldn't even tell me why it was there, but there it was. And I said, "Any chance of me taking it on the shoot?" And he said, "Yeah, that's fine. You can, nobody uses it. So, good old beer economy. The rental fee for that Wide Lux for me to use it was a beer per production. A case of beer per production. So I had it on a couple of early shoots that I did before going to Canada, and then when I was in Canada, I spent a weekend down in New York, and I went and bought my own Wide Lux for B&H camera in New York. And this is Operation Dumbo Drop, and you've got Russell Boyd there in or Mr. Kangaroo is the Thai crew Gordon, based on that shirt, and his longtime gaffer Brian Bansgrove. And we're just again waiting around on the light, and that's why Bans has got his contrast filter up, because he's just waiting for the clouds to clear from the sun so we can start shooting. I was sitting on the dolly and just turned around and saw that and went click, and again, it's just the composition of it. I love with the guys in the background, and on the left there, sitting down, is Sean Conway, who is now one of the most well-known and busy gaffers out of Australia at the moment. And he was Brian's best boy on that job.
Oh, no way. I love Shawnee. He's
an
absolute classic. Yeah, the Wide Lux, oh my gosh, just gives you so much in a frame to explore. And I love looking at a great frame, and I love looking at every tiny little bit of aspect of it. And the Wide Lux is that. And because you love shooting 16:9 on a film set too with your stills, don't you?
I do like a wider ratio, yes. But I was talking before about the people in their environment, and there's no better camera than the Wide Lux to show that. That beautiful width. Yeah.
We're into gaffers now, electrics.
Yes.
Give us a quick breakdown on what these guys do.
Well, the relationship with the gaffer and their cinematographer is probably one of the closest on set. Again, it's much like the production designer and the art director. It's the cinematographer's vision when it comes to light and lighting sets, and it's then the gaffer who works with the cinematographer. It's the gaffer who puts that creates the reality out of that vision, along with the electrics crew, and the next person down from the gaffer is the best boy, and the best boy will basically facilitate the electrics department once they get all the information from the gaffer.
Now, there's going to be a question here. Best boy. There's best boy in many departments. JP, just quickly fill in anyone that's not from the film industry that's watching. When they see that film credit best boy, it's like, huh? What's a best boy?
Oh, look, it's an old tradition, and I've got to say I'm not sure exactly where it came from, but it's the leader of the electrics crew and the right-hand person of the gaffer. and they've always been known as best boy, and now these days, we are seeing a lot of females in the electrics and grip department and those traditional male dominated departments, and there is quite a discussion going on at the moment as to whether it should remain best boy or become best person. We will see, but that's not, that's the decision to be made by, I guess it comes down to the individual. I know that in the latest edition of the Australian Cinematographers magazine, there's an article about females in the electrics department, and there is a sense that they like the tradition of best boy. It's a female doing that role, that best boy role, whereas others feel it should be best person. It shouldn't be genderized. But yeah, that's up to them, and we'll just see where it goes.
Essentially, it's number one assistant, and to
the gaffer.
Again, another gatekeeper. And
indeed, yeah. And there's also best boy grips as well.
Yeah.
And again, the same deal. They are the right hand person to the key grip, or the gaffer.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, realize the relationship between the director of photography and the gaffer, and a lot of people seem to, wrongly think that it's just the DP going, this is what I want, and the gaffer makes it happen with his team. But they're very collaborative with the light. And someone like Sean Conway, who we were just talking about before, Shawnee is one of the great gaffers, and he could, the DP could be away for a week and nothing would miss a beat with lighting wise. And Sean was telling me a story just recently that, he studies all the great masters, in painting to learn lighting. And it's, again, like we've talked about it many times about how much work people have put into learning their craft, and it's really quite something else.
Yeah, or that that goes to why he's such a great gaffer, as you say, but also so popular when a lot of overseas cinematographers come to Australia. His reputation precedes him, and he's gone that extra mile to study the painters. Another
beautiful shot.
Yeah, Caleb Deschanel. This was a film in Canada, Fly Away Home. Talk about feeling privileged to work with certain people. There are two of my favourite films, were The Right Stuff and The Natural, both shot by Caleb. There's a shot in The Natural when Glenn Close is in a grandstand and she's wearing a broad-brimmed white hat, translucent. She stands up into the light and the light just washes over her from whether it was a sun or whether it was a light that Caleb had set, who knows. But she stands and she just looks astounding. It's just stunning. It's beautiful. And anyway, look, Caleb was a master. He's a master.
Great shot.
I was lucky enough to work with him once, and we had a great relationship. He used to give me a hard time because at that stage I had a Minolta light meter for the wide lux. He was using a Spectra, and he's always, playing around and giving me a hard time, saying that his Spectra's far more, far better meter than the Minolta. I get home 6 weeks later, little package arrives for me, a Spectra meter. He'd sent me as a thank you present for the job. Yeah,
that is so nice. And the script supervisor looks like she's not having a great day there.
Blanche. I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? Or maybe she's laughing at one of, and that's next to Caleb there. To the left is Scotty. I was going to say maybe she's laughing at one of Scotty's jokes because he was hilarious. He was the gaffer, but he was absolutely hilarious. Yeah.
I love it. Is that McCaffrey?
That's Pete McCaffrey, one of the best
Baby
operators I've
McCaffrey.
ever had the pleasure of working with. Yes.
Yeah, he's and Elmsy too.
Yes, that's Dave in the background there on the left.
I think I'm with Peter on my next one actually. What a great what hat has he got on there today? You know, he wears a different hat every day, but the same hat every day. And he wears Bruins, and I can't remember whether Bruins is Tuesday or Thursday. But anyway.
Okay. A man of habit.
Yep.
And look, it's interesting you say that because I do remember when we would arrive on set each morning, and Pete and I, he was the A camera operator on that. I was the B camera operator. So we'd arrive around about the same time on set. He would back his car into the parking spot religiously. He would back his car in. And one day I said, "Why do you always just back your car in?" He said, "So I can just get out of here as quick as I possibly can."
I love it. I love Pete.
Man of habit.
He's an absolute genius too.
And he's shooting these days. He's a cinematographer now, isn't he?
Yeah. He was second unit on Furiosa, and he's just calm. I love how calm he is. Oh my gosh, I was there. Oh, there's Duggan and Francois.
Francois up there with the camera. Yep.
What a great set this is. God, that's better than anything I got, JP. Well done.
No, I doubt that, Jace. Now, this gives me the opportunity to say thank you because I remember you giving me memory cards on this shoot. You said, "Here, have some memory cards." Yeah. Well, look, it doesn't go unappreciated. I don't know whether I've ever said. I'm sure I said thank you on the day, but at the same time, it goes to your personality that you knew that I was shooting, and also your understanding of what I was shooting.
Yeah.
Which is basically, it's all about the crew for me. And this is actually kind of unusual in that I've included, that set there because I am very aware in the vast majority of circumstances that I don't shoot anything that sort of gives the game away, as it were. But look, this is that was Francois was another. He was a camera operator on this. I was the B camera operator on the Mummy on the Chinese section of the Mummy.
And you don't see that anymore. Camera operator sitting on the crane. It's all technos. So
of course it is. Yeah, it's all remote.
Not only is it. Yeah, it's sign of the times, and that's only 17 years ago. So that's how much our industry's changed, and it was such good times. And this book is so historical, and the way that you captured it, and because mostly as a still photographer, you take photographs of crew, and no one ever gets to see them. And hats off to you, buddy, for
thank you, man,
for doing this for all the crew. It's amazing. Elmsy.
Well, I think Elmsy, David Elms, he was working with me on the B camera, on the Mummy out in China there. Look, going back to the book just quickly, that is the thing that I'm interested in. I'm generally interested in history, and as you say, you go through the book, and this is the first of 2 volumes. The second volume will go to 2005 up to present day, and that will then, of course, take us through the whole change from film to digital, but also the COVID years.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and what happened there, but it'll be close to 50 years of history. And the books are unique in the sense that they there's not an actor in sight, bless them.
Yeah.
But this is all about the crew. This is celebrating the crew and the effort that goes into making these films. They're the engine room. The crew are the engine room of any production. These books celebrate them, and that's really, really important.
Yeah, so, in front of the cast. Everything in front of the cast. And just a quick one, first AC, we haven't covered what first AC does.
First AC, in the days sort of long gone where we're shooting on film, each day we go to rushes or dailies, and we'd see the previous day's work up on the screen. It was projected up on the screen for everybody to look at. The first AC was the only job on set where everybody knew when you got it wrong because it was out of focus.
Yes.
So, the operator can get away with a frame being slightly off. The DP maybe can get away with not exactly what they envisioned, but they were the only one who's envisioned it. So, nobody else knows that it may be slightly off. If it's out of focus, everybody knows. So that's the primary job of the first AC is to keep everything in focus, and they don't get to look through the camera while they're doing that. Dave has made the transition from working on film to now working digitally, and it is chalk and cheese in the way that that the job is achieved these days. But effectively, the first AC, their main job is to keep everything in focus and basically run the department. They are the best boy or girl or person of the camera department. They facilitate all the equipment. They test all the equipment prior to the production starting on location. They put all the lenses together based on the choices that the cinematographer has made. They liaise with the production manager and the team in the production office when it comes to additional equipment being pulled in for, let's say, a big day. Maybe there's a battle scene or something like that where you need additional cameras, additional personnel. It's the first AC who organises all that. But yeah, basically they run the camera department underneath the cinematographer and work very closely with the operator. The two relationships, one with the cinematographer and one with the camera operator, again, very, very close.
And the relationship with the directors got stronger and stronger over the years too. I love watching a great first AC or focus puller, the way that they help the audience and tell the audience where to be looking, with their focus. And, they're, I don't know, they're directors in their own right, I feel. And, like 100% storytellers. It's just, again, it's all about the collaboration and what every little nuance that different crew members do. And, next time, you guys are watching a movie, just watch the focus. And that's the focus puller doing that. And a lot of the time I just went there and then the director will be like, that's absolutely perfect. It's like, they're driving the narrative.
Sometimes it's intuitive to pull focus from one person to the other. A lot of the time, of course, it's based on dialogue going back and forth between two actors. There are times when you will discuss a decision that you feel has one or more ways of going ahead. Whether the timing of a focus pull, the speed of a focus pull, and you're absolutely right. You can take the audience where you want to take them. So it's a technical, but it's also a subjective and sometimes a more artistic decision that is made, and a good focus puller will make those decisions and trust in themselves to make those the right decisions when it comes to where the audience should be looking. But you don't take them there. You don't take them there too soon. It's all in the timing. I pulled focus for 12 years, and I absolutely loved it. Very stressful at times, but at the same time, it was it's one of those positions where it's the highest of highs when you smash it out of the park, but then at the same time it can be soul destroying when you get it wrong.
I can imagine. Oh, look at this. Is that Oh, what's her
Irene.
name?
Irene Sito.
Irene. Yes, Irene. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. Sorry, Irene. I didn't mean to not recognize you there.
This is one of ours working together, and
Yep.
that huge night at the hangar on Stealth when they blew the hangar up. And talking about extra cameras, what do we have? 13, 14 cameras on that explosion that
Yep.
night. That I would say that stunt. I've never been on set where a stunt that big has run so smoothly.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And then I'm not sure whether you came to Rush's dailies. There was maybe a couple of days later at the studios. We all went in to watch the results of the 13 cameras on that explosion. Every single one of them was a winner. Every single shot was a winner. It was amazing. And you had a number of cameras yourself out that night, didn't you?
Yeah, I had 3 cameras on it as well. It's like the wide shot. I think there was, I can't remember exactly, but there was like 9 or 10 stunties doing a pullback with also cars or military vehicles doing pullbacks as well.
Yeah.
And it was just insane, and no one got hurt as you know, as you'd expect. Like, you know, I keep saying it, film, the safest place for you and me to be during a day is or a night is on a film set. And Michael Taylor, I think, broke a record with how many monitors he had going for a video split that night.
Yeah, and Rob sitting in the center of them. Remember? Yeah. Well, there was a video split for each camera, so 13. Let's say 13 cameras, but there was close. It was something like that. And Rob Cohen there, sitting in his director's chair. A beautiful shot, surrounded by monitors. Yeah, gorgeous.
As much as I'd like to say Michael's still complaining about it, he's not, because he always loves taking on a challenge, and a challenge like that is just like, yep, well, how many more do you want?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at the girls. I haven't seen them in ages. Well, I have, but not. Oh, this
well,
Red
yet
Planet,
again,
obviously.
you came to the rescue here. This is one of your lenses.
Is it?
Yeah, I came up to you and said, Jace, what's the longest lens you've got here? And I can't remember what it was. Maybe you can tell me. But you lent me the lens to shoot this.
I'd say it's an 85.
Oh no, it was longer than that. It was longer than that. It was in the telephoto range. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, then it's a 200. It'll be a 70 to 200 then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I always carried around 270 to 200s as well.
Okay.
So
I wanted, and sort of going back to the right stuff, that classic shot of the astronauts, long lens shot of the astronauts walking to camera, all 7 of them. And it's been repeated a number of times. It's in Monsters Inc. as well. They've got the same shot. And this was kind of what I wanted to do with this, because I had the ladies also walking towards camera, a sequence where they're walking towards camera, you're carrying the costumes, the helmets, the breastplates, and so on. And then I also set them up in this shot. The whole idea was, to me, these guys were the heroes of the shoot.
Yeah.
The issues that were on Red Planet, are quite well known, and these guys, they were dealing with it on a daily basis.
The wardrobe department.
Yep, costume and wardrobe. They were dealing with it day in, day out, and they did it with a smile on their faces, and everything got done. And so for me, they were the heroes, and I wanted to shoot them as such, but then at the same time make a print for each of them and give them the print, which is kind of where this whole process of shooting crew came from. And it was from shooting the crew, but then I had access to a dark room. And so I would then, if I liked the shot, then I would go and print the shot, and I'd hand it to the subject as a thank you for the help that they'd given me on set. And this was exactly that. Well, no, not exactly that, in the sense that they were I, as a B camera operator, and these guys weren't working hugely closely together, but at the same time, that's where the idea of the behind the scenes crew photos came from, and it's just gone on forever now, and it's all grown from that.
Yeah, your prints are beautiful, and I have a number of them on my walls. And look at the old. Oh gosh, see, that's incredible too. It's like the Polaroids for continuity instead of doing it on digital cameras or phones.
Yes, that's right.
This is a great team.
Again, it's all that history. That stuff that we don't see anymore. And Polaroids is a classic example of that. Yeah, it's all on phones or iPads. Or well, it's not even on digital cameras as such. Unfortunately, No,
it's not. Oh, the
and also,
boys.
and here it is. And again, look at what they're wearing or what they're not wearing.
Exactly.
In the sense of,
imagine that now.
Yeah, wow. That's 1990. That's on a little film called Waiting, shot out in Cessnock. But this photograph, this was the first photo that I'd taken on set, because it was only I'd sort of seriously picked up the camera again the year before, when my eldest son was born. Prior to that, I'd sold all my camera gear. I'd actually thrown away all my negatives. I kid you not, and I regret that. I will regret that for the rest of my life. I thought I was done with photography. I thought I was now part of the film industry. So between 93 and the end of 89 into 90, I was taking some photographs, and in the book you'll see that they're kind of just happy snaps.
Yeah.
But it was when my eldest son Jay was born at the end of 89, it was kind of like, I'd really like to take some photographs. And so my interest in photography was rekindled. My love of it was rekindled, and that's when I started taking photographs on set with that same camera that I bought to shoot him as a baby and as a young child growing up. But this one of these guys, the grip department on Waiting, was kind of one of the first ones where I thought, hey, that's actually got something to it, in the sense of, there they are looking straight in the camera. They've just built this curve track. They're proud of what they've done. And it was, I just loved the shot. And that was it. Yeah, this is the first one that sort of pushed me to continue shooting crew, or start shooting crew.
Is that a young Mick Vivian in the middle?
That's Michael Vivian is in the middle there. Toby Churchill Brown on the right, and George Sudas, key grip, sitting on the dolly there. Yeah.
I think George. No way. Yeah, that's very interesting, JP. That makes a lot of sense, because this is such a strong image, and it's just got everything that this would be something that would make you relight that passion. It makes total sense to me that this would be that image.
And look at the history there. An old Ellie Mac dolly. Look at the O'Connor gear, the O'Connor fluid head. The old Ari BL. There's yes, so much history there.
That's incredible.
Mm.
Oh, come on. I've seen this shot so much. This is just incredible.
Yeah, this was pretty special. Flyaway home, Canada. Now this was kind of ingenious. This whole setup. They had a number of gaggles of geese imprinted upon different people. A number of them, of course, with Anna Paquin, who played the lead. But this group of geese were imprinted on the boat driver there from birth, so they would just follow him everywhere.
No way. So
We were
he's the
so the
animal wrangler as well as the marine.
no, no, I don't think so. Look, I don't know the details, but basically the idea of this shot was that you can see the wings of the ultralight there.
Yep.
We had the camera low, looking up, so you wouldn't see the horizon, and we could have the key cast sitting there as if they're flying the ultralights 200 or 300 feet in the air, because you're looking up, you don't see the horizon, and you've got the geese flying off just to the side. So you are, you believe looking at the shot that you're 200 or 300 feet in the air, but we're in a bloody boat on a lake.
This is extraordinary, though. No, because apart from anything else, this image has way more impact than just looking at the sky and the cast and a goose flying next to them.
We'd shot the sequence, and we are now heading back to base. After each take, we'd give the geese a bit of a break. So the boat would just stop. The geese would just land in the water, take a break, have a bit of a breather, and then we'd take off again for another take. And as soon as the boat started, up the geese came and followed the boat skipper. So we were heading back to base, and they. Now, I'm not. He would drive at a speed that suited the speed of the geese flying.
Yeah.
So we could always keep them just where we wanted them in shot. Now, of course, they're slightly ahead of the boat here because he slowed down a little bit, but you could actually reach out and almost touch them in flight. It was quite amazing. Quite amazing. Yes. And that on the right there is Mark Manchester. The key grip. In the center there, we've got Carol Ballard in the white hat in the background, the film's director. Carol had his own cameras, Camaflex cameras, a French brand. He had 3 of those. We use those, very lightweight, very small, compact, and we use those for all the air-to-air stuff, flying with the doubles. They all took Nikon lenses. He had a Nikon mount on those Camaflex cameras. He had a complete range of Nikon lenses, and he saw that I was shooting with Nikon at the same time, and he said to me, any lens you want, you can use, just grab it out of the boxes. Again, so generous, and yeah, just a lovely man, very generous.
I love it. That's what it's about. We got to, as still photographers, we're stealing real estate from everyone. So it's like,
yeah. This is just the electrics team. Now I felt, this is my fault. I'm not sure why I've managed to get this kind of out of sequence. But anyway, again, you've got, this is Sniper, Far North Queensland, and the electrics team, just bashing a whole lot of hard light into the set. Sean Conway on the left there. Colin Chase.
Was that a young Sean?
Yep, that's a young Sean. Gary Hill, Grant Atkinson, second from the right, and Sooty was the Jenny operator.
Sooty.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Sooty. Oh, I love this shot.
Locations.
Yeah, there you go.
Peter Lawless, location manager. Now, someone saw this shot the other. No, I posted this shot the other day, and someone said they felt that Peter. There was no one who could interpret a script better than Peter Lawless as a location manager. And again, I just thought, here he is in the location that he'd found for this film, Eucalyptus. Unfortunately, it's the one and only show that I was on that never actually went into production. Yeah, we got up there in pre-production, coming toward the end of pre-production. This was during the location scouting section up in Bellingen, in northern New South Wales. But then, for whatever reason, it was scrapped, and we all went home. But I got this photo, so all was not lost.
That's such a shame. Oh, Dumbo.
Operation Dumbo Drop. That was my wife at the time, Julie.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. She now the look on her face is based on the fact that she'd been up since about 3 o'clock in the morning. And the rest of us were just arriving on set. She'd been applying makeup to that animatronics elephant for all those hours. So yes, we're into makeup now. Julie was makeup assistant on Operation Dumbo Drop, and she actually made up the elephant. So on that show, that elephant is made up. There is makeup all over that elephant. Yeah, and she did it. Amazing job. But
it really is an amazing job.
Yeah, they the hours that some people work, Jace, as you know.
Yep.
And makeup, hair, costume, unit. Of course, unit get there before anybody and leave after everybody. The hours that they work are substantially more than the majority of the crew. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, not even joking, but a lot of the crew do work half a day longer than stills were. Although we have 3 or 4 hours a night at home getting onto everything.
Yes, we do. We do work. We have a lot of post-production stuff to do every night. We're offset. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're the lab now, it's not like the old days. You'd bundle up your rolls of film and send it off, but we've got to do everything.
Well, editor.
Quite crazy.
Yeah. Photographer, editor. We do a grader. There's a lot of stuff goes on in the background that, again, I don't think a lot of people realise. No. But it's all about education. It's a work in progress.
Absolutely.
Safety officer Gordon, our safety officer, dragging his bollards from one setup to the next. We had a horse and carriage on this day on set. And it was one of the larger carriages, so it had a 6-horse team, and so yes, safety was an integral part to shooting that scene. And there's Gord just dragging his bollards up the hill.
The safety officers are a massive part of my life on a film set, and I love those guys. It's like, they're there to make it happen. They're not there to say no and shut things down. They're like, hey, this is not safe, but you can do it over there. They're always there to find a solution. And I think that's probably general speak for all crew members. It's like, if something maybe can't be done the way that director or DP envisions something, then it's usually up to any other member to find a way to make something similar happen.
Yes, they are a very important part of what we do, most definitely.
I love these shots of crew carrying around rocks. Yeah.
And so does Sophie Faber Jackson, Belgian princess.
Soph. Yeah.
Script supervisor, continuity. This was on Kangaroo Jack. Again, we're outside Alice Springs, and it was just a moment again, where you've got to have the camera because it's there and it's gone. All spare hands. Let's move this rock.
Yeah, and it's probably because Sophie said no, it was in a different position.
She probably did. and nobody else needed the check, so it was just moved because Soph said it was in the wrong position, so it was moved. Yes.
Massive responsibility for the script supervisor. It's like, making sure that the timelines are correct and things are in the right position, just like tiny little things like we're talking about before with props, with having the watches set at the right time, and directors that want to cross the line is like, nope.
Yeah, it's a huge job, and again, there's a lot of work that they do after hours, because
Yes.
all the information they write down, then they've got to transcribe that, and then that goes, transcribe their shorthand, and that then
Yeah.
goes to the editors. But they're writing down in real time what the
Yeah.
actors are doing, and which hand did they take the hat off the head with. Um, so much information that they have to be aware of, watching and writing. And so then they, because the actors are in, they're in the role, and then they will come and say, oh, which hand did I do this with? Did I
Yeah.
take my left sock off first or right sock off first?
Yeah.
So many questions, and they're
For
the
each
ones who've
take.
got to have the answer. Yes, and then to match it once we've done the wide shot, the establisher, to then match it when we go into the close-ups or the coverage. Yeah, amazing people. And as they have a very close relationship with the directors, but also with the camera operators.
Yeah.
When it comes to eye lines and so much stuff that goes into the coverage of these shots. Can I move that candle on the dining table to the left a bit? Because it's blocking someone. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Well, when we're around the other side, it was there, so it's going to be bouncing back and forth. It's endless. The information that they retain, that then they are able to access to answer questions from almost anyone on set.
And data wrangling from, first ACs and loaders as well, all the information, all the camera information. It's, quite incredible. Yes. No way. Is that a young Jerry?
It's a young Jerry and a young Ben. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is too.
And Ben Osmo sound recordist. And Jerry's his longtime boom operator. They no longer work together. Ben is now retired. He plays his music, his flute and guitar at various venues across Sydney, primarily up on the northern beaches. But Jerry's still going strong. Yeah, still out there.
Oh, I love those two. They're both excellent musicians in their own right, and purveyors of fine wine. Hey.
Yes. yes. I had a coffee with Jerry not so long ago. I was down at his place. He, with my copy of the book, I'm having everybody who's in the book sign it for me. So I went down and had a coffee with Jerry, and he signed my copy, which was lovely. And look, Jerry's one of those guys who you just can't help but photograph. He's a good-looking young man, not so young anymore, but still good-looking, and a real character. When was this? This is Operation Dumbo Drop in 1994, and I'm still photographing him in 2025. Yeah.
That's crazy. Actually, Jerry and Ben, of course, but I see a lot more of Jerry these days, and he's one of my favourite humans. I love being on set with him, and he's always very gracious with the real estate, and which actually brings us into what does the sound department do? And they can be quite a large department. A large department of 4 or 5 these days on a film, and fill us in, JP.
Yeah, well, in this situation, there was only one boom operator, being Jerry. But these days, it's rare that you don't have 2 boom operators on set, plus a cable person. But then again, it's less of a cable person these days because, of course, the booms are all remote. So effectively, it's an assistant to the department when they're moving things around and getting things out of the truck and getting themselves set up and ready to go. But of course, sound department, they record all the sound for the show, be it the actor's dialogue or background sounds, sound effects. They do it all.
Yeah, these two work for some pretty heavyweight clients too, and there's a long list of awards for them, right?
Yes, well, Ben's done all of George Miller's films. I'm pretty sure he won the Academy Award for Fury Road. Yeah, look, they've been all over, these two. They're top of the game. Yes, absolutely.
Sound is really important to us guys too, and as still photographers, and as I was saying before about real estate. The relationship with every single crew member is imperative, because we're only as good as the access that I'd like to say create, but it's more the access that we're given. And the boomy and the still photographer are quite often want to be in the same spot. And sometimes, we have to give that up because sound does come before us. But 9 times out of 10, if they can help us out, like Jerry, then they will. And it's kind of interesting. We're a department of one, but we're actually we're a department. We're a part of every department in some respects, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And there's, if you have a good relationship with boomies or anybody really close to the camera, then you will get that access, because that is built on trust. But it's wonderful sometimes. You can have a real dance with the boomy, because when things are moving around and the dolly's moving, then of course they're traveling, they're walking, and you just get into a rhythm of where each of you are going to be at any particular moment of a particular shot. And once you start that process, then it's great, because they know that you know what you're doing and are aware of them. And as you said, we are kind of at the bottom of the food chain from the priority point of view. But that doesn't mean that we can't get in there and fight for our space. And if we can't be in a spot, then we can't be in a spot. But you get out of the way with how do you best put it? With grace, and you live to fight for another day.
Go and edit for a couple of shots.
Yeah, or maybe find a different angle, or maybe shoot a behind-the-scenes shot. There's always something. Yep. There's always something to do if you can't be right where you need to be or want to be. There's always something else you can shoot. Yeah,
behind-the-scenes shot isn't a behind-the-scenes shots without a boom in it. I got to say,
That's true.
Sometimes people will boomy will pull it out of the way and say, no, put it back in. It's like, I want it.
Yeah, and, you're not shooting if the boom's not in there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love the sound department, and we've got some great ones in this country, and those two are right up the top of the list.
Yeah.
So, is this on Mars? On Red Planet?
Red Planet, yes. Yeah. Please, I'm sorry, don't ask me their names. But these are the 4 stand-ins for our heroes on Red Planet. And with those camo dressing gowns, because as you probably remember, there was always a wind blowing across that moon plane, and it was bitterly cold at times. The wardrobe department always have some clothing for not only the actors to wear to keep themselves warm between takes, but also obviously the stand-ins as well.
That is where we had the lightning chasing us down.
Yes, I wish I'd actually add, or maybe I could. It might be in the book, a photo of that tower where everybody could see what we were talking about with regards to the lightning coming and having sort of basically been working underneath a lightning rod. Yeah.
Well, they can go and have a look at your Instagram or social media and see some of the photos, or they can go and buy the book. That's more important, I think.
Probably in the book. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
girls.
those guys work twice as long as everyone. Has to sort everyone out. It's like complete logistics, right?
Yeah, they get there before anybody else and they leave after everybody's finished. That's Brendan Fitzgerald, and that's on the Deb, actually.
Cool.
Just on the outskirts of Sydney. We were shooting at this little semi farmyard area, farm property.
I haven't seen
But
Brendan
yeah,
in
look,
years.
they they just are really the unsung heroes. They set up the unit every morning. They bring power to all the trucks. They set up all the tea and coffee. They will come around with fruit bowls for crew who can't get away from set. They'll come around with, they'll come and do a coffee order and chuff off to the coffee station and bring your coffee back. They just do it all and are absolutely brilliant human beings, a lot of them.
Yeah, and a lot of them are all ex-farmers and that too, which makes sense because they can fix anything, do anything, and the whole I always look at them as being part of, if you look at it as in military terms, if you're heading to the front lines, they're the ones that get there first to set it up for you to get to the front line.
Yeah. Yes, they have to be practical people because there are times when they need to think on their feet and get stuff organized or get stuff fixed. They're the ones with always got the the jerry cans of fuel in the back of their truck for some knucklehead who didn't go to the petrol station on the way to work, and can't get home.
I was on Race the Sun, and one of my favourite unit people was Nikki, and the poor girl, she had to drive the portable toilets back, and she got back into, I can't remember where we were. It wasn't Cooper Pedy. Anyway, it was somewhere. And she's pulled the ute up, parked it, and the toilets are not there. Fallen off.
I thought we said they're practical. Yeah. She didn't once look in the rearview mirror?
Well, she went back to get it, and obviously there was stuff coating the entire inside, and it's a story of legend that we still talk about to this day. But yeah,
wow,
Nikki, you'll never be forgotten.
Who could that be?
Who could that be? That's a really good shot to show that set too. Oh my gosh, look at that young little boy.
The Mummy 3, eh? Again.
I love this shot. Thank you, JP. It's a real
My
privilege to be photographed by you.
Mate, look, how could I not photograph you there? Look at, in that, with that, as you say, that background and that look on your face, looking wistfully off into the distance. Smashed it again. Yeah. I
still do. I still do that pose, and I still wear those clothes.
Yeah, and still got that brand of cameras. They're not not those particular ones, I don't imagine. Or do you?
No, but I think they're probably up in my collection there.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said whether you've still got them.
And I wear Black Rapid straps now. So
okay. Yeah.
Are you on the Black Rapid?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Oh, good. Well, I'll send you my signature strap when it comes out next month.
Is it a double?
You'll no, it's single, but we'll be doing some doubles later. But if you need a double, then
I like the double with the two cameras. Yes.
Yeah, I do too. I wear a single, and then I wear a double over the top because a lot of the time I like to commit to just one camera. So it's easy for me to just take the double off, and I've always got that single ready to go.
Okay. So you're not saying that you have three cameras. You have either one or two.
Yep.
Yes.
And then if I'm shooting two,
I'm with you.
Then the single will just sit on its own. But sometimes because a lot of the time, I'm in spots where I can't have anything dangling, so I'll just have the one camera ready to go and commit to a lens. Yes. Which these days, outside now, 24 to 120 f4 is like my favorite length of anything. And you're shooting the Z9 now too, right?
I am. Thank you very much. Yes. Kerry Hayes.
I was about to say, it looks like young Kerry.
Everybody's young, yes. This is 2F by C in outside Toronto. No, sorry, not outside Toronto. We were over in Nova Scotia on 2F by C. That was the show that I did. I spoke about when we were talking about Andrew Lesney. And the one film that I did with him, I can't actually remember whether I mentioned what film it was, but it was this one, 2F by C. Kerry just doing a bit of cleaning in the sun.
I love it. Has Kerry got a copy of your book?
Kerry hasn't got a copy of my book. He has seen my book. He's I don't know, maybe one day he's got his own book he wants to and I've seen that, and that's beautiful. It hasn't been published yet, but it's a cracker of a book. A lot of his primarily, of course, his unit stills photography work.
Oh, hey, I've got your book right
here. There it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
JP's book, and no guesses for where the bookmark, the page is on for that one.
When I see you next, you'll have to sign my copy.
Oh, it would be an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I just love the way that the world's not flat.
No, that's the signature, isn't it? Really, of the wide lux. If you tilt it back or forward, immediately the horizon will get a bend, either convex or concave, depending on which way you point it, up or down.
Oh, that's very cool. I wonder if, is there any point in them making a digital wide lux, or is it just crop now?
There is if you want to go and buy the Fuji make the GFX series, their medium format cameras. Now, one of the shooting ratios within that camera is 24:69, and that is the exact ratio of the Hasselblad X-Pan. So no, it's not a wide lux, but basically it is a digital panoramic camera. Because if I've got the GFX 100 Mark II, so you've got 100 megapixel sensor there, and you've effectively got a digital panoramic camera, and that is because Fuji and Hasselblad joined forces to create the Hasselblad X-Pan and the Fuji TX1, I think it was called. At the same time. So there's two models of basically the exact same camera.
That's interesting, because with the 45 megapixel in the Z8 and the Z9, that could be really, that could be a nice little format to have in there. I might have to try and send a little note about that. What's format was it? 20?
I actually prefer the wide lux ratio, which isn't quite as long. The X-Pan is 24:69.
Yeah.
Whereas the wide lux is actually it's much closer to the anamorphic ratio.
Yes.
2.4 to 1.
2.4 to 1. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have a chat about that. Oh. Now, talking about Jerry. This was Jerry's best in the whole friend in the whole wide world, and what a giant in our industry.
Jim Sheldon, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on Sniper. Damn. And we spoke about Jim before, didn't we?
Yeah, we did speak about Jim. That without him, I probably wouldn't be a still photographer.
That's right, from Light Horseman. Yeah.
Yeah,
lovely man. Lovely man. But I thought I'd finish with these photos up with unit stills photographers, where I've sort of finally finished, because it was years and years of me on set, working as a focus puller, as a camera operator, in the later years of my work as part of the film crew, as it were. And it was just always, and you looking at you and Jim and Kerry and thinking, geez, maybe one day. And then, it finally got to, I'm 55 years old, and I'm thinking, well, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it, 10 years ago. And, that's when I made the decision to make the move, because stills is, I've always put it this way, stills is my passion. Film was my profession. And if I didn't make that move, I would have regretted it for the rest of my life.
I think you're a great inspiration to many, many, many people out there that have a dream. And it doesn't mean that you weren't happy with your career, because you had a great time, and you're very, very good at it. But to make a change at 55 years old, that takes some great courage. And again, hat off to you, Platty, for doing that. And you're showing people that you can be the photographer you dream to be, and you dreamt it for decades, and then here you are now. So I think that's it's a big tribute to you to having the courage to do that.
Thank you. And once it's interesting. Once I made the move, my respect for you guys just skyrocketed, because I was very fortunate when I made the move, because digital was here to stay, and also mirrorless cameras had just come in, and so silent shutters. So lucky me, I never had to work with a blimp. And never having to work with a blimp, but doing what we have to do and negotiating, as we were saying before, for space and those things are so freaking big and heavy and cumbersome. Yeah. I mean, the results that you guys got, using those things just blows me away. Yeah, amazing. And so that's, like I say, my respect for you guys who were in it well before me, and working with those, all those DSLRs or SLRs before the D part of it came in. Stuck in a blimp. Amazing. And the other thing is, you had to give all your work away. Shooting film straight to the production.
I think a lot of us kept sneaky transparency frames.
Yeah, well, one for them, one for us. I'm sure you did. But at the same time, you're looking at two and thinking, "Oh, I like this shot better, but which one am I going to keep?"
You have to give them the better one.
Yeah, but it's nothing compared to what we can do these days, which is basically press a button and everything's copied, and we've got a copy of everything, and they've got a copy of everything. But to hand it all away just would have done my head in.
Hold on. I'm going to get my blimp. I've got one in my office. Just hang on. So here's the Aquatech one.
Look at it.
And then, the camera goes inside there. And I actually designed this one with Aquatech. The first ones were Jacobson's, which were very, very good. But I used to drill holes in them so I could get to some functions.
Settings. Yep.
So settings. But then when I designed this with Alan Love and the team at Aquatech, who make the amazing surf housings, I was able to put in a button there to change the shutter speed. A couple of other little buttons, and the where was it on the front there? It's the trigger. I think that one was for. I think this one here was for menu. Anyway, without dwelling on it too much, but yeah, pretty crazy. But
and focus was on the outside, like the other ones, the big square ones. Were they the Jacobson ones?
Yes, but yes, there was focus. There used to be a focus ring before autofocus, but then autofocus was here for the for these blimps, and but you just had a zoom ring.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So yeah. Oh, it's Turkey. What's this one?
Shader. This is Fly Away Home. We went down to an Air Force base just on the US side of the border from Canada, and we shot there for a couple of days.
Wow!
I first met Tack when I was working as the focus puller on Black Robe. He was the photographer then, and that's where I first met him. We were shooting about 400k north of Montreal, and he was the unit stills photographer. And bless him, much like you, when I mentioned you on Mummy 3 gave me memory cards, Tack would say, "Oh, look, just grab any film you want. If you want some, just whatever you want, just grab it off the bench." Brilliant,
that's so cool.
Yeah, lovely guy.
That is so cool.
Guy. Yeah, haven't seen him for a long
who's
time,
that handsome devil?
There I am with my wide lux.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Look at
No
all
idea what
those,
film that. Oh, that could have been Sniper. No, it wasn't Sniper because I didn't have the wide lux in those days. Don't know what
look
show
at all that
was.
old equipment, the ballast and the,
Yeah,
what's that, a 10K or something, and old
HMI
apple
back
boxes.
there. Yes, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Look at you, you
love
young
that camera.
fella. I know, right?
Yes,
It's so
yes.
good. So good. And then here's a more recent one of you, JP.
That's on the Deb. Yes. That was a couple of years ago. Just shooting one of the big dance sequences for the Deb. What a show that was to work on. So much fun. One of the most enjoyable experiences that I've ever had on set. Yeah, just
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's good when you have.
It's like when you got music and dancing, as well as the crew and Rebel was brilliant. Yeah, really, really enjoyable.
And you were one of the still photographer's favorite pieces of equipment, a ladder.
A ladder, yes. And again, relationships.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, grips. You talk to the grips, guys. Can I grab a ladder? Yeah. And they'll bring the ladder to you. Yeah. It's relationships and respect and just working together. Yeah.
Yeah. Bring the ladder to you and cover safety for you while you're at it. It's
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it a million times about love letter to the crew, and your book is exactly that. And I hope our little chat is also, the crew sit there and know how much we appreciate them, and maybe we'll get another apple box or ladder.
Yeah, look, it is. It's the crew are everything. Not just for us, but also the production. Without them, we don't have films, we don't have TV, and they need to be celebrated. And that's what the book's all about: celebrating the crew. Yeah, they mean a lot. They really do mean a lot. Yeah,
100%.
Mm.
And that's a wrap, right?
That's a wrap, right? Okay, so this really was a wrap. So they're wheeling. It's about 5:30 in the morning. It's February in Niagara on the Lake, which was the small town just near Niagara Falls in Ontario.
I know it well.
And yeah, it was Trapped in Paradise with the show, and it was my first full show that I'd done. And when I say full show, because I'd been in Canada by that stage for 6 months, got there midway through 1993, and been doing bits and pieces, additional camera days, that sort of stuff. This was the first film that I was on full time. I was the B camera focus puller. What a shock. At the time, I'd just come back from Sydney. I spent Christmas in Sydney. Summer, 30 degrees, get back, and it's like between minus 10 and 15 degrees every night, 11 weeks of night shoots.
Yep.
And it was just brutal. And I've got some stories about that shoot. But anyway, this is the guys, 5:30 in the morning. It's a wrap, taking the dolly back. And it's snowing so much that continuity-wise, it didn't match what we'd shot previous to this night. And so there was no point continuing. So it was actually called a little early. But yeah, we got a bit of an early mark.
That's crazy. My son goes to hockey school in Kitchener, which is about an hour and a half from Niagara on the Lake, and one of the rinks they play in is actually there. So it's a beautiful part of the world.
Oh, it's beautiful. But 11 weeks at nights, middle of winter, that was, quite the welcome to Canada. But hey, wow, these, I did it once. These guys do that every year.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Every year.
Yeah.
Hey, so JP, we're kind of got through the book, but I did ask you a question last week. Do you have a favorite behind the scenes image?
And I do.
You ready for it? You sent me this one. You ready to tell me the story about this?
I will. Yes.
What a shot.
It's absolutely stunning. Marilyn Monroe, I believe, rehearsing her lines, preparing for an upcoming scene. The Misfits is the film, 1960, I think it is. I first saw this photograph at an exhibition in Santa Monica in the late 80s. I was over there doing a commercial. I was a camera assistant at the time, over in the States doing a commercial, and just was at Santa Monica, noticed the exhibition, walked in, and there it was. At the time, there was no way I could afford it. And Eve Arnold is the photographer, a Magnum photographer. But I always coveted this image. I just absolutely love it. There's a spontaneity, but also there's a I'm just trying to think of the right word to describe that pose that she's got. Vulnerability. There's a book. Here it is. The Misfits. And it's all about this show. And it's written by Arthur Miller, who at the time was Marilyn's husband, and their marriage was on the rocks. He wrote this part for her because he wrote the screenplay of the film. But this is a really interesting book. So that's why I'm getting my information about what was going on from reading this book. But the other wonderful thing about it is that the relationship that she must have had with Eve Arnold to allow her that access. And it always reminds me about, what you say, we're only as good as the access we get. It's so true. But to allow Eve in there to shoot, with that proximity to clearly a moment, a personal moment that she, where she's preparing it. Now, I don't know what scene it is. It may be an emotional scene. I no idea. But I just love it. And I love the way she's framed. The way that she's lessened, she's dead center, but at the same time, you've got all that sky, all that space, and it sort of reduces Marilyn to, something not less, but, and not insignificant, but that, but compared to that background and that space that they're working in, and also about the storyline of the Misfits. It all just goes together in one, and you've got the boom there, which immediately says film set. Without that boom, it could have been anything. But with the mic there, it's film set. It's a BTS image, and I received the print last week, and we'll be going down to the framer tomorrow.
Perfect, and it is a beautiful print too. Hey, so JP, we did it.
Jace, done. Thank you very much. Loved it.
Right, and it's like
it's great to chat.
We intended to try and keep this at 30 minutes.
But the stories, 4 30-minute blocks.
Yeah, it's like, but we're having so much fun having a chat, and
really enjoyed it.
Thank you, young man, for giving me the time. Our reminiscence of talking about all our old friends in the film industry got the better of us, and I think it'll be about an hour and a half.
Yeah, can't help ourselves, can we?
No.
And one last shot. There's Jasin in the book.
Thanks, buddy. Well, JP, just got to let everyone know this is your book, and you guys definitely want to buy this book. It's an absolute ripper, and all the details will be down the bottom of JP's website and all his socials and stuff like that. Give him a follow on Insta, and same for me. If you like this one, if you could like and subscribe, that'd be epic. And I told you it was going to be a good one. So we're going to end off on JP's book. And thank you so much, buddy.
My pleasure, Jace. Thank you for having me. And thanks, everybody, for sitting with us and having a bit of a listen. Really enjoyed it. You take care.
Too much fun. You too, mate. Cheers, mate. And there you go. JP's book, observations on set. It's really good. So go and grab one. Cheers. Thanks, team.